That's right, all across the land. Let's get ready to expand. Like, share, subscribe. And tonight, we ride. Let's go, my peoples in the ethos intro. That's right. Bring 5 people to the Real HD show and win a 4-day, 3-night getaway, courtesy of us. Let's get into the next clip. You know what we do before we start what we came here for and why we came through. We got the Elders and Ancestors Blueprint right here on the Real HD show, the higher discussion. We can't move forward without understanding what happened before us. That's a bar. Let's get into it. This is not an elder or ancestor, but she's wise in her own regard. We're going to throw on something from Rod Digger, Storms Coming, right here on the Real HD show. She got some interesting things for us to add on with. Here we go.
Your son gave me a message to give to you. Made me memorize it. Thank you for your courage through the dark years. I can't help you with what you must soon face, except to say that the future is not set. You must be stronger than you imagine you can be. You must survive, or I will never exist.
It's a storm coming. It's a storm coming. It's a storm coming. It's a storm coming. What you gonna do? Who can you trust when you feel that heat coming? Are you ready to fight?
One man, the desires to fight. He turned it around. His name is Connor. John Connor.
Look, mama, thanks for the guidance. I'm normally private. I'm breaking my silence. I'm striving to break into the game and maintain and survive it. Couldn't 9 to 5 it early on. I seen this was my calling. Shit, I put my all in spitting balls in a 1-bedroom apartment. Days I didn't eat gave new meaning.
Fair use, fair
Into
use.
the term starving artists, did it for the culture and stayed away from these vultures. Fuck them, never change my content for profit, stop it. Cause logic would tell me, long as I'm healthy, my passion will never fail me. What the fuck can you tell me? I'm never gonna sell my soul, cause my truth is what made me wealthy. I always pictured myself in my mind, I've been taking selfies since I was 12, watching Belly. I barely went outside to play, I was making tapes, getting ready. I was watching Rhyme and Reason, I believe hip-hop can keep our people eating, feed them, even keep us breathing through the legacies we leave it. Now I ain't preaching, but I'm hoping that I reach them, teach them. You could change your life just with a chorus or a feature. Went from whack rap to the backpack of the aftermath. Next chapter, while y'all playing the game backwards. Trendy niggas is penny pinchers, y'all guinea pigs. Give me niggas raw shit still in me. Word to my indie niggas. Yeah, I hope they feel me, nigga. You hear it to kill my spirit, they have to kill me, nigga. And when they hear my voice, I hope it uplift my niggas. And to my mama, Sarah Connor, let's go get these niggas.
It's a storm coming, it's a storm coming, it's a storm coming, it's a storm coming. What you gon' do? Who can you trust when you feel like heat coming? Are you ready to bust? If we have to, feel like heat coming. If we have to, feel like heat coming. If we have always knew it would come a time I'll be calling my sons in rhyme. It's a rage against the machine. I tell them to jump in line, getting on my Sarah Khan, swinging like Barry Bonds, trying to wipe us out existence. I'm seeing various signs. Went from fighting to power, ain't no biting allowed, to popularity polls. How many likes in an hour? These uneducated critics, they be writing about us, but they never deter me. See, they just heighten my prowess, call us bitter and haters. History eradicated when we voicing our opinion on some shit that we created. I heard I was racist, I just tightened my laces. This supposed to be rapping, but writing rhymes was the basics. So many documented cases of fraud across the board. I don't yes man people, I enforce the law. All is free fall, fuck out of here, this total recall. Storm coming for your bitch ass, he go to seek war. I ain't trying to be no star, just trying to teach y'all. Power to the artists, united, divided we fall. Seeking you should find instead of feeding the mind. OGs going crazy, trying to keep up with the times. I'm divine, unique design. 3 from the line and I ain't even in my prime. Never compromise the ethics, I leave it all behind. When I feel like he coming, I'm squeezing both the nines like it's a storm coming, it's a storm coming, it's a storm coming, it's a storm coming. What you gon' do? Who can you trust when you feel like he coming? Are you ready?
Hey, that was a unique Elders and Ancestors blueprint. And Rod Digger is not an elder or an ancestor yet, but we showed you the Brick Lady and all of the craziness that went on with the Brick Lady last time. This time, what we want to show you is that there are some lionesses out here ready to get it in when called upon. And those are diamonds in the rough. Those are the quality women that we need to be celebrating and honoring. And I'm sure Brother Mozzie would not have a problem with that. Welcome to the show, brother. What's happening with you?
Hey, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, man. It's a storm coming, man. That's what Rod Digger was saying, man. And I think that's pretty focused. What you think?
I say we better get on board.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So we are here tonight. First of all, how you doing, brother? How's your day? How's the fam? Everybody good? Before we move on.
Everything's good, man. Just everybody just going along to get along and taking it easy.
Yeah, we can't have too much of that. We got a little some of that, but not too much. That's partly the problem. We're here tonight for this. Power to the people, hot news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you know, we got an update. We got an update on what we talked about last time, which is this here. Brick Lady and the Bricks Takeover. Shout out to Abdul. Peace, brother. He laughed at my post. He was like, man, you doing the most. Because I put the little Martin thing when he had to fight with Tommy Hearns. Mm-hmm. He got all lumped up in the head over that. But we got an update, and it's very apropos to what Sister Ayala Van Zant said. We are still out of order, and one of the reasons why our women are out of order is because we're getting paid to be. So I think that's interesting, and I'm gonna pop something on right now. Let me get to it really quick. Bear with me. Okay. All right, I gotta do it the other way. Okay. Bear with me, family. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Off the handle without all the facts. Listen, now I've been following this story from behind the scenes, but for some reason, something didn't sit right with me. Something other than the reasons that they were saying that black men were apprehensive about this. But after a few days, my suspicions were pretty much all confirmed. And now we've got so many people that have demonized the black men that stood by, the black men that threw bricks, hitting people in the face with bricks. And we still got some questions here. We're left with a whole bunch of questions. You know what I'm talking about. The brick lady was a hoax. And I'm just gonna say this allegedly.
All right, now I'm gonna try to find
things
a spot here where this brother talks about just why and how this happened. We're gonna get to the
truth. Here it is.
First saw the video, I just went again. And not again like, oh, something bad happened to her. I'm like, she doing this again?
What did she say happened that night and what actually happened that night?
She basically said she was beat up by 4 black security guards. Out of 200 people, mostly black, may have been a white person here or there, mostly black people. That BITCH is the reason we can't get in the club. She was trying to fight all of us. I said, oh, okay. And she ended up getting dragged by black females.
Do like some kind of insurance scam, went to Virgin Islands, and then that's how she ended up in Texas.
She got $50,000 in a settlement.
Now, in that clip, she's talking about 2020 incident when she allegedly scammed from a security and the club ended up suing. You're going to have to do the story, not 8 p.m. live. Long story short, Brick Lady said it was 4 black security that beat her up, quote unquote, but it was actually, she got beat up by women that she started something with. And it's a whole lot of other stuff, y'all. But all I'm going to say is shout out to the ones that have been rocking with me. I appreciate y'all. And the ones who mad because we telling the truth, I wish y'all well. But I'm going to continue to tell the truth. 8 p.m. live tonight, interview.
All right. So just wanted to show that really quickly because I got a lot of people hitting me up in my DMs. You out of control. Why are you doing this? Why are you purporting on this sister? What's going on? And the reality of it all is that she's done this a couple of times. And what it kind of amounts to is this here. In 2020, she got about $5,000 hustling through the GoFundMe, and now she's at about $35,000 hustling. Black men not protecting her, reaching out for help through the GoFundMe. And then on top of that, this story has become so sensational, so crazy that now even medical experts, I don't know if you heard about this, bro, but medical experts are chiming in on the subject matter and said that if she got hit in the face by a brick, there would be mass abrasions. There will be cuts. There would be deep abrasions. She even might need stitches. And in their wisdom and in their, like, I guess medical professional opinion, she suffered a allergic reaction. Similar to one, I don't know if you guys remember the movie Hitch. And they said that Will Smith took some stuff, ate some stuff, and his face blew up. So it's very similar to that. But above all, we got a hustler's mentality on deck, live in living color in 2023. And she's got 35K and counting. Crazy, man. I just wanted to give the people that update, man. Because, we got to know who's fooling with us, who's puppeteering the thing, and who really needs our regard and our help. Your thoughts, bro?
I'll say this, man. You know, as I looked at it some more, whether it was true or not, here's something that was interesting as of the earlier information and news that came out. So we reported stuff based upon the information that was given at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, subsequently, days later, more information came out so everybody can level set and recorrect and really know what's going on. But based on what was initially happened, you have someone who is of Eastern African descent, looks like she's in another country. And how is it that what took place in those countries now turn around that black men in America ain't nothing because they don't do nothing?
Right.
Didn't you find that quite interesting that brothers are sitting around letting these women get beat down? And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. That ain't even happening in the U.S.
Right.
Two, in other countries, women still have to understand that you don't have black feminism over there. So you can't be out there doing all this other stuff. These type of things will happen to you. But it's interesting because a lot of folks in these countries don't like to align themselves with, you know, as Tariq Nasheed like to call it, foundational Black Americans. And now when something happens and it's blackface and it's men, now all of a sudden it's black people in America, black men in America to be particular. So we got to be careful when a lot of this stuff happens because black men in America seem to be the fall guy for all things happening on the planet. And we got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be bothered with us. Nobody wants to deal with us, but everybody wants to blame us, even when we weren't even in the room.
How about it? How about it? And I mentioned that a little bit of that before. And what's even more interesting to add on to what you were saying, there's no CCTV footage of her getting hit. So you're talking about a gas station across the street. You're talking about a lit club in a club atmosphere, no matter where it is. And nobody has any CCTV footage of a woman getting hit in the head by a brick. You would think that would be a lengthy situation. You would think that would be an ordeal that went on for a good 5 minutes. Because, and also, I found it funny that there's no concussions and she wasn't knocked cold. If she was truly hit with a brick from close distance, how is she not unconscious?
I didn't even show. Bottom line is, even if she would have woke up, she wouldn't have knew where she was at for a while.
Yeah.
And if she was hit with a brick. And I think a lot of that just has to do with, you know, when the story came out, once again, with a lot of these stories, I think we all have to kind of, there's two things that happen in stuff like this. When, for example, the plane over Long Island, remember that years ago, the plane over Long Island got shot down. Blew up in the air. Now, one of the things that's interesting is I was always told, because of the way corporate media is, you have to, whatever you catch on the story in the first 15 minutes to an hour or two is going to be the actual story of what took place. Because what typically happens is the independent reporters get on the scene. You know, they may be NBC, ABC affiliate. He lives in the neighborhood. Hey, get on out there. Give me that story real quick. So now he's out there. He's telling you what he saw. And in that particular story, if you remember, the first couple of hours, he was saying, we saw a streak of light and then the plane blew up. A couple hours later, it was, you didn't hear about a streak of light. Which means now the spin doctrine is in place and the corporate/government thing that takes place is now taking over the media and over the news. But as it relates to social media, it's the flip side. We need to not go after the information when it comes out. What we need to do is we need to just observe and give it a couple of days because it usually shakes itself out after that. So I think that's going to be the difference between, corporate control news that we get and then social media news that we get. One, you got to catch it right when it first happens and they show up on the scene. The other one, we got to give it a couple of days to incubate so all the real information to fall out.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So we got to be careful who we are, where our values lie, because you gotta march in an army of those ideals. You gotta support it, not only with your, your thoughts and your like emotions, but you have to support it with your action. And now this woman is up to, I hear it's 40-something K now. And people giving donations to what might be an entire hoax. And speaking of hoax, man, let me jump into the story. Power to the People news. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. Let me pop it on up. And it's a story about a $1 billion proposition in shoplifting. Let me see. See if I can pull it up.
While you're pulling it, let me make this other statement.
Go ahead. Because I got it up.
We got to be careful too, man, because one of the things that's happening is, like with this woman, and all these people are donating money to her, is it's going to create a situation, because we already have BLM that got hundreds of millions of dollars. Now here we are. Here's another situation, and notice the theme. The theme is something that happens to Black men. But what I'm getting at is when something is legit and real, that support's not going to be there, because between BLM and then sisters like this, nobody's going to support.
Well, now that you said that, bro, let me put this up. So this is a very similar post, whereas they're helping this sister to gain thousands of dollars, right? Tens of thousands of dollars. And this brother here protected a woman from her abusive boyfriend, and he died in the melee of protecting an odd woman in the street from abuse from her boyfriend. Isn't that crazy? And he can't get it. And he can't even get, he gets no support, basically. This woman gets close to $45,000. He, with a baby, with a full family, putting his neck on the line, gets really, really no support. And I know the ladies are like, well, you should help women. And yes, you should, but you got to be extremely critical of who you give your help to, because you have a family to go home to also.
Exactly. So you got to be careful so that you don't find, as you know, you can find yourself in a serious situation. And then she goes back to him.
Yeah. Crazy on wheels, man. Crazy on wheels. So I found the clip that I wanted to show. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into it just a bit. And I want to know Brother Mozzie's take, and I want to know your take. So please throw it in the chat, or you can come on the show and drop yours right here. I'm going to leave it in the, let's see if it pulled up. Come on now, behave. Okay. Come on the screen. Did I share it correctly? No, I didn't. All right, I'm gonna have to go back out and come back in. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So, how organized shoplifting became a $1 billion industry. So we're talking about the brick lady and how she's, ganking people for their money and their sympathy. And I was having a bit of a, I guess, and I don't usually get into this, but Brother Marcus was one of the people that I was going back and forth with. And he had a post, I don't know if you saw it, bro. It was about crime. Brother Marcus is on the conservative side of the game, and he likes to, in a way, overreach with his statements about Black people's culpability in American crime. Not Black on Black crime. It's mostly proximity crime, and that goes for all over the country.
Or as they say, crime of convenience.
Correct. Crime of convenience, right? Whoever's next to you, who you know, who's in your immediate radius is pretty much how the crime is going to be, I guess, executed, for lack of a better term. But now all these retail stores, as of the pandemic up to now, are complaining that organized shoplifting became a $1 billion industry. And I find that to be really interesting because, just like, a lot of BLM cats and this sister here, they like to make black men the default of that particular crime or non-support. And then, of course, now you got retail stores that want to make black people the default crime agents of why retail shopping is not doing well. Now, am I here to say that there's no crime that goes on in these Walmarts and black people aren't culpable in some kind of spotty situations? Absolutely. But are they responsible for the billions of dollars that this industry is losing right now? I call cap on that. It says organized retail crime is on the rise, turbocharged, listen to the words, turbocharged by the pandemic, and now costing the retail industry billions of dollars a year. Professional gangs that are able to take large quantities of items are responsible for the biggest losses. Consumers not only face the higher prices, ding, 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 but also localized shortages of certain products and potential store closures. One industry leader explained the increase of volume of theft as driven by higher margins available for stolen goods online. So now they're saying that these people are taking these goods, going to the dark market, and then, of course, selling them at their will. And they may be, or they may be not. But when you hear this, bro, about how organized shoplifting became a $1 billion industry, what's your thoughts?
I think what we have to realize is that this is nothing new, and that organized shoplifting has always been happening, and has always been a $1 billion industry. The problem now is it's more brazen, and what's happening is people are coming through the front door, not the back door. How often do supplies somehow ends up going out the back door or never even make it through the back door to end up on the shelves? So we can call it shoplifting, but basically it comes down to shrinkage in the store and missing product. And the reality is that product that's not paid for. It's been a $1 billion business, and they're being disingenuous because what we're showing is they're constantly showing young black males and females running through the stores, snatching everything. But they don't show you all the Europeans who are walking in the store and doing the same thing.
Absolutely. So I was doing some research on this, man, and they don't want to get into the history of planned obsolescence and how that is a $1 billion industry within the retail space in itself. Mm-hmm. So as those products break, you run into the store, on the onus of what wifey needs or what the kids need, and now you got to rebuy what you already bought a year before, a year and a half before, major items, toasters, microwaves, vacuum cleaners, all of the like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So that's a theft. That's a $1 billion RICO in itself. But we won't go down that rabbit hole right now because I want to get to something else. So I was doing my homework on this topic, and here's something that I found on an anecdotal quote on a Reuters post right here, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen. And then it says, "What are the stupidest things people overspent in the U.S.?" All right, so this is supposed to be in response to shoplifting. Okay, so ignore this question because the question is before it, and this is one of the follows. It says, yes, they used to pay me to shoplift. Talking about these larger, greater stores, Walmart, Target, Macy's, etc. Yes, they used to pay me to shoplift. My payment was I got to keep everything I collected. The best part is I was contracted by my own company to do the undercover, and Walmart weren't to be informed that I was even operating. I really enjoyed the work. It was very rewarding. Until this day, they still don't know about the hard work I put in for them and the greater community. Now, I don't know if that's a troll, but if that's a real anecdotal quote about almost like how, I don't know if you know about this, bro, but you ever heard of a thing called Secret Shopper?
Yes. I was going down that road.
Yeah.
But what I was also thinking about in the IT world, we do cybersecurity checks. We check to see how safe your network is and things like that. So you hire people to do quote unquote illegal things to your network, or to try to hack into your network, try to break into your network. If Walmart is trying to find better ways to secure their product, what better thing to do is hire consultants who go out and steal.
Yes, sir. Frank Abagnale, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man. But watch that movie, Tom Hanks. Real movie, true story about a master criminal that, the government hired for his criminality skills. So whenever you read a headline like that goes something like this, please don't drink the Kool-Aid. Do your homework. Do the rounds. Make sure you're thinking about things critically, because things are not all that meets the eye. So you gave us, what was the joint? You gave us something for our Blacktastic take, bro. What was that you gave us? You sent us a bunch of stuff. Let me open up a thread and get to it, because I thought it was really important. And I said, I'm gonna show this joker as soon as we get on the air as one of your Blacktastic takes. It was hot, it was efficient, and I thought it was powerful messaging. That's right. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna get into Mozzie's Blacktastic take on the Real HD show, and it's about HR 2689 and its impact on Title IV and the family court system. And then we can get to it. We can get to the chop up afterwards. Let's see. All right, here we go.
2689, because they locking y'all up.
I'm going to make my money one way or another. Even if that means locking you up, I'll make my money off of you being locked up. Please peep the game.
Oh yeah, and this hookup culture. Oh yeah, that's a wrap, because they're making it so you can no longer get child support off of one night stands. If that man wasn't in your life, let me tell you.
Not only are they making it mandatory for the man to get a DNA test before he signs a birth certificate, but now they're like, look, you're not going to be able to get any money off of this man if he was not actively, long-term, a part of your everyday life.
Oh yeah, it's true too. And if I could add on to this bill, you know what? If all these fathers are paying these high amounts in child support, why not give the child to the father? Yeah, that's coming too. I mean, what you think?
I'm going to be honest enough to admit that a man would probably be more capable of raising a child on his own than a woman.
Don't swipe now. Come back here. Hey, ladies, did you know that paternity fraud is now a crime? Yeah.
All right, so we're going. So, brother, talk to me, man. Why did you choose this as your Blacktastic take? And what ramifications do you think this is going to have on our folks, them peoples, you know what I mean?
It's called legislating behavior.
That's how I saw it.
People can't seem to get it together, so let's legislate it. And it's a straight slap in the face to Hot Girl Summer, Black Girl Magic, and understanding that there's a lot of brothers out there, melanated brothers, who have found themselves in positions where they're taking care of a child that wasn't even theirs financially.
Right.
And that's been going on for years. But because we don't focus on anything that has to do with melanated men, we don't realize that these things are happening behind the scenes, because everything is about what the sisters are doing. And here's the other thing. It goes on in the white community also. And powerful white men are tired of it. When white folks' pockets get touched, there's time to make some changes.
Yes, sir.
And their pockets have, because remember, there is a big Black fathers movement in America. A big fathers movement in America. And it just so happens that Black men have joined forces. And this is some of the legislation that's coming down the pipe. So if sisters out here, because too many of these sisters, brothers are getting put on the hook. And one night stand is not going to give you 18 years of payments.
Yeah, man, and this should begin to remedy things like people being 85 years old still hooked up on child support. There was this one brother who died down south, still paying child support, but the straw that broke the camel's back for this brother, I had the story, I had the picture of the story, the graphic saved, but I'm not going to try to dig that up. And then because we went over that maybe a year or so ago, or maybe a little later than that. And then also stepfathers who, when they divorce the mom or separate from the moms, they are put on the hook for child support as well. So this should be a remedy for a lot of those types of things. Hopefully they're remedies. But I got a question for you, bro, because I want to go down a rabbit hole a little bit with this, because this is all ultimately about money. And we know, based on Title IV antics, the state was being rewarded by the government to seek out these what they call deadbeat dads for the child support funds. And for every dad they got under Title IV, I guess, stipulations and paying child support, that particular father, they got money, they got kickbacks from the Fed government, the state did. And that's clearly in Title IV. It's written, you can look it up. We did a whole show breaking it all down. And if you're thinking about the WEF of things and the CBDC rollout of things, do you think that this is a way of accountability? People seeing that where the money is going and where the money is flowing in a clear way. Because of course, if you were, if you had a baby or a child support piece happening, a dad may give the mama some funds that the government don't know about. Take these $200, get some school clothes. Take this $400, get school clothes. And that's money that's money in the woman's pockets that's not being accounted for by the government. And then the only person to question that mother who got the funds kind of haphazardly would be the social worker if they got wind of it. Or the whole piece where you could be a mama with 2 babies, have your little drug dealer boyfriend, and the drug dealer boyfriend is financing your lifestyle while you getting assistance from the government. That also rolls into Title IV. So do you think this is a way of streamlining by the government before the CBD thing gets too heavy and too fast and too deep, to try to understand where all these economic lines are flowing and make these mamas accountable for the economics that are coming in and out of their accounts? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's for many years, what has happened to us is that we've gotten used to functioning and working and flowing outside the lines. And there was a lot of loopholes. Because one of the things that happens is, for example, let's say like here in Rochester, we always talk about the high poverty rate. You know, and the question I always have is, do we really have high poverty as high as they say it is? Because what we have that I observed, and you being in education, you get a lot of young kids coming through there. Mom and dad ain't married. That's mama's boyfriend. So when she does her taxes, she's single headed household. She got 3 and she's only making 32,000. Of course, she's poor. But homeboy working over there at Pepsi, Coca-Cola, he bringing in another 40.
Delco, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't?
Nah, I don't hear you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me check my volume.
Yeah, your volume went away.
Okay. Are we hot? No, we're not hot. So, okay. Mic check. Hey, at home, give me a 1 in the chat at home if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Mozzie, can you hear me? No? Okay. There we go. All right. So let's go back.
I found the problem.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right, awesome. All right, great. So that's that story, man. And let's begin to move on to our next joint, which is in the same vein of, you know, talking about these stores and talking about, you know, they were complaining about shoplifting and how it was $1 billion industry. And now what they want to do is this. Power to the people news. Spy attire. U.S. investing $22 million in surveillance socks and other wearable technology. So when you first hear a story like this, man, what's your thoughts when you first hear a story like that?
To continue spying on folks in America. We're gonna move into a dystopian world where they know everything that's going on.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Okay, found it, popping it up. All right, spy attire. So go back to it. So it says the federal government is reportedly investing $22 million into developing clothes that can record audio, video, and geolocation data. Pablo Escobar and El Chapo can't hide no more. According to August 22nd press release from the Director of National Intelligence Advanced Research Projects Activity, wow, that's a mouthful. The research and development arm of the organization recently launched a cutting-edge program that claims to make performance-grade, computer-ready clothing a reality. Out of control, man. This reminded me of, as soon as I saw that, it reminded me of this. Dum 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 dum.
There you go. Well, but here's what's going to be interesting about that. Who are the first ones that's going to run out there and get that stuff because they think it's hip and it's cool?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the one people that no matter what new things come out, they always run to make sure they're the first ones to have it and then to show it off.
Right.
People who look like us. And then what do? They go out there and they steal cars, for example. Or they're stealing from the store. Now I can track you back to that store at the same time that all this took place. And there's a good opportunity. You were one of the people. Because we got the surveillance video. Now we know you were in the store. Put the two together. Gotcha.
Yes, sir. Hey, man,
think about that.
Do you remember Get Smart?
I remember Get Smart.
Yes, sir. Pick up the shoe. and talking to it.
Yeah, buddy.
You stumbling, bumbling, rumbling, but with the clothing that can record and transmit and become a virtual weapon. We're talking about a future that is very interesting. And basically, you know, to allude to what you just talked about, I think it's interesting that just like any other thing, they're gonna claim that these particular items are gonna somehow be a benefit to you. That's the way they're gonna sell it.
Yep, that's how they always sell it.
Yeah, man. Don't give them your voluntary consent, people.
But that's what we do, man. We give that consent. We like to be the ones. We like to be the first ones. We like to brag about it, man. Look at what I got. You wish you had.
Yeah, man. So staying on the same note of surveillance and data and future tech, ain't nobody, this is out of the Atlanta Black Star, ain't nobody asked for a blackface thread. Social media reacts to AI generated images of what white Hollywood actors would look like if they were black. So there you got Leonardo DiCaprio, kind of looking like Cuba Gooding Jr. just a bit. And
who the sister?
I don't know. That looked like the brick lady, don't it?
Yeah, it looked like they can be related. That's for sure.
Look like the daggone brick lady. But yeah. But so this is the new thing that's going around. And do you think this is a new, I guess, cultural appropriation?
Yep.
And
this is what you do.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
This is what you do when you don't want to hire. Because see, we didn't catch what was going on in this game. One of the things that was going on in the game was they didn't want to hire American foundational Black Americans. So what did they do? They start bringing in a lot of British. Now we just don't want to use Black folks at all. So what we can do is put ourselves in position to where we can AI generate people, because a lot of movies now, a lot of the stunts and things of that nature are AI generated.
Right. Exactly. Oh my gosh. And of course, now that a lot of the icons of the last century have passed, Michael Jackson, Prince, Ray Charles, you can go down the line. Now you can take their likeness and do what you want to with it.
Yep.
And I think this is just the iceberg, just the tip of the iceberg with in regards to this. And then also in regards to the discrimination that happens in regard to AI. Like if you have like some AI generated features, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the whole Yahoo thing where they cut up the guy's body. He was a brother in the picture. And then when they cut up his body and they left his torso there, when you saw the capture image of his face, it was an image of a white dude.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So there are all of these body sketches that are all over like Google Images and Capture and all these different places where you get to see images of people and men. And then when you plop on, I guess, if you put men in the caption and you're not very like descriptive about who you want to see, Black man, Mexican man, Chinese man, whoever it is, the AI will generate a picture of a white guy on default, even if it's a Black guy's body. They'll give the guy a white head. And you can tell it was like superimposed, almost like it was like Photoshop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I thought it was interesting. And now you got, of course, AI coming in and dominating the music scene. And I don't know if your son put you on to all of the mixes that are out now, where you can have a song done in another superstar's voice. Are you hip to that?
I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got people, you got Chris Brown doing Michael Jackson, or Michael Jackson doing Chris Brown, or, you know, Chris Farley is doing you know, Cedric the Entertainer, you know,
Yep.
in a comedy skit, and you know, it's somebody else's voice, but the same routine going on and on and on. So I just wanted to make people hip to that, man, you know, because this technology stuff is useful. It has utility, but just like anything else, there are tremendous faults with it. And I wouldn't fall in love and run too fast with it. I would pace myself and pace our community with it until we have a little more agency and ownership of how it moves along. You got
And
the
it's
last.
okay to be behind.
Say it again.
It's okay to be behind the technology.
No, not necessarily be behind the technology, but understand how you're going to utilize it and how it best benefits our folk. You know what I mean?
But that's an assumption that it's for a benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would suggest just, hey, like you say, sit back, watch and see what's going on. When I say be behind, don't rush to be the first one to always get. Don't be the first one to always get the brand new iPhone to show off that you got the brand new iPhone. Sit back and wait a little while. See what's going on. Observe the landscape.
Right.
Know what's going on with everything. So before you don't find yourself later like, ooh, they got me.
Right. See the forest for the trees. Correct. Yes, sir. So we're moving on, man. Power to the people news. What just happened? This just happened. So this is part of our Lit City report. The wacky, the wonderful, and the wild things that make our world go round. And this comes to us from blacknews.com, and they're talking about Brother Les Brown. Brother Les Brown has been a motivational speaker for many, many years. And if you're an Xer, you probably know about him. If you're a boomer, you definitely know about him. He was married to Gladys Knight. And there is a expo that he is doing that he wants a 5,000 black men to attend to make our world better. So he wants an expo where we can get all black leaders, black men leaders in one room, conversing, legislating, proposing ideas, planning for execution for a better world. So when you see what's your first inference on this, bro? What do you think? I'm trying to pull up the article.
Well, it brings into to me, it makes me wonder. He's just looking for 5,000 black men. But what about 25 years ago, we had something that had 1 million black men. And what came from that?
Okay.
And as he's asking for 5,000 of the elite black men, the talented 10th black men?
Probably, yes. I would say so.
So, and we know typically when stuff like that happens, who typically shows up, and we know they have a long documented history of doing nothing. But not much has been done since the Million Man March either. So we need to take a better look as to why ain't this happening? What's going on? Think about it. I don't know if you went, but yes, I went.
Yeah, I did. I brought a busload of young men who was in my rite of passage program that I was conducting out of Long Island at the time. Yeah, I did. Definitely.
Now think about that, man. That was an incredible.
Yes.
This country never, even till this day, seen anything like that in its history. Ain't nothing happened. Our conditions have gotten worse. Things just ain't happening for us, man. So why are we inviting those particular 5,000? Are those going to be the black men that they say, hey, we're going to give it to you guys because you're the last ones we're going to use. Everybody else just going to have to get blown up. I'm laughing, but it's serious. Because once again, it's always certain type of black men that calls for something like this. Les Brown is a great brother, great motivational speaker. His life story has been great. You got Dr. Robert J. Watkins. If I remember correctly, I think he might be a pastor. I'm not really sure, but these guys who is he? We know who Les Brown is, but who is he that want to put this stuff together and make it happen? And what are going to be the action items? What's going to come of it? What are we going to do about it? And why just 5,000? Well, because we can't get more than 5,000 black men in a room together? These are questions we got to ask ourselves, man.
Absolutely. No. That's a very astute and critical take. I was leaning more to the aspirational side of this, because there's always two sides to every coin. And we do need to be in rooms where we can legislate, make action plans, legislate amongst each other, for that matter, because we do need to forge a clear path of what we're trying to do and what we would like to do as men and lead our communities. And we do need forums and shows like mine and others to be available so that we do have forum to discuss and begin to execute some real things. So I'm hoping that this is on the up and up. But of course, we all know back in 2010, there was a memorandum of understanding with the NAACP tied into local government. And then people like Al Sharpton get shows, Joy Reid get shows, Barack Obama goes on to do what he does. And a lot of people had under the table sweetheart deals that came out of that memorandum of understanding in 2010. So I appreciate your critical take on it, but I do truly hope that this is supposed to be a forum for healthy discourse, healthy dialogue, healthy building, as they say, so that we can move into a more productive future and, move on in that regard. But you're right. We got to think critical about how this is moving, what this is all about. But I made it our Lit City report because I want everybody to kind of, research this idea of 5,000 men, find out what it's about, find out if it has any legs or if it has any integrity. And if it does have integrity, and if it is on the up and up, and you can put your thumb in the air and verify it, then will we decide as men to mob that situation and start charting a course for bigger and better things? What's your thoughts?
I think you hit it right on the head, man. I'm not saying we don't go. I'm saying we go with a critical eye.
Yes, sir.
And that we kind of, because, how many times are you going to keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe?
For sure.
Using your favorite reference.
Yeah. You can't. I always try to go into things with my eyes open, and kind of, get a lay of the land before, you give your voluntary consent into anything, as much as possible.
Yeah. But they say the player's been played, the pimp's been pimped, and the mac's been slapped. Well, we about tired of all that, man.
Yes, sir. We got to be wiser. But
I'm hoping that it gets some good brothers and sisters in the room that could actually make some things happen.
Right.
Right. But I wonder if that's a Sigma Pi Phi call out.
Yes, sir.
Just asking, man. Just asking, because
no, you might be right. That might
calling the brothers to the table.
And that might be a dog whistle for all, for all of the Greeks, all of the pseudos to come on through and capitulate.
Yeah.
Time to bend the knee,
Yeah, it's time for you to come in the room and they say, hey, you know what you got to do, because you know what we've done for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Black Shores.
Yeah, that house in that two-car garage in the DMV. Yeah, man.
And that Beamer that you like to show off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that little cutie you got on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, we help you orchestrate all that and keep it under control.
Yeah,
Time
man.
for you to pay up.
Hey, so I forgot to go into this, so let's jump into it right now. Let's do our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser, right here on the Real HD Show. Check it out.
Last week, a new study came out saying that if you're worried about developing Alzheimer's, make certain you exercise. Researchers at UT Southwestern found that regular exercise over a year slowed down the degeneration of the brain, specifically the part of the brain that is tied to memory. Interesting, huh? Well, while preventing the disease is important, what kinds of treatments are there for people who already have it? And Dr. Joe Giovinco. Dr. Joe, back with us this morning. You're excited about
fair use
this. You were talking to me about this last week. You're excited about this.
I am. You know, there's so much coming out right now, and certainly, you know, we're looking at maybe physical types of treatment modalities, and the one tonight that we're going to talk about is going to be about a brain cap that's going to be used. However, there's other stuff out there right now. We know that exercise, though, is basically, I spoke with Dr. Amanda Smith over at the Bird Alzheimer's Institute, USF Bird Alzheimer's Institute, and she says exercise really is the number one recommendation she has for anyone.
Really?
Absolutely. And this new study from out of the University of Texas really does confirm that. They saw a slower decline in the size of the hippocampus. That's the part of the brain that they watch very, very closely in people with Alzheimer's disease. So that really is number one. But the other thing that they're doing there as well is there are multiple drug studies that are going on. However, there has, as she has said, been a lot of spectacular failures in some of those, but there are some now that they are advancing. But they are also trying deep brain stimulation. So essentially implanting a stimulator within the brain. And they're doing that now for older Alzheimer's patients. Previous studies had shown in the younger ones it didn't seem to work as well, but now there is going to be a clinical trial. It is going to be going on between the University of South Florida and Tampa General, where they will be inserting these deep brain stimulators to try to kind of stimulate that area of the brain.
All right, so you heard it there. So now they're talking about you can mitigate Alzheimer's and dementia symptoms with exercise. So this is our AAT report, our Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser report, because we care about your health and we need cellular power as per the pandemic and all of that robbed us of. We need all of the health, wealth, and vitality we can get. What are your thoughts, man, when you hear about how exercise, we always knew exercise was a generator of health. We just didn't know that it would stimulate a decline in Alzheimer's and dementia, something that's running rapid in our community. Now let's bog it down to us. I know my grandfather died of Alzheimer's and dementia. A couple of people on my wife's side of the family died of Alzheimer's and dementia. And that exercise wasn't recommended to them. And my wife always, you know, she came to me, man, and she said, you know, when COVID hit and Fauci and Trump was on TV espousing all of their wisdom and goofiness at the same time, she said, babe, why don't they just tell people to eat healthy and get rest so your immune system is sharp, and exercise and do the things that will keep you healthy? They telling you to go to the liquor store, they telling you to drink bleach and all kind of goofy, but they're not telling you the very simple things that keep us going. Your take.
Over 2,000.
How about it?
Also, why would I tell that to people we don't want?
The useless mouth breathers.
There you go. Useless eaters and redundant population.
Mm-hmm.
As Sidney Wilhelm's book so eloquently puts it, who needs the Negro?
Yeah. From a chemistry standpoint, burning phosphorus in the body is how energy is produced. And the only way you burn phosphorus in the body is through your food consumption and then, of course, calorie burning. So, if you're not calorie burning, how can you maintain health?
And that's true, man. I mean, the reality is, no matter what they tell you, no matter whenever you go to a doctor, a good doctor, I should say, they always say one thing and one thing only. Make sure you walk at least 20 minutes to a half an hour, about 3 days a week.
Yes.
They're always saying, please walk, people. Keep the body moving. And I'm guilty of that because of the work that I do. I'm sitting down writing or, on meetings and different things like that all the time. And I have to make a conscious effort to get up and move around.
Yeah, man.
And go to the gym, all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, man. My doggy got me walking like crazy, man. Because he's older. He's like 14 and he's an elder and I want to make sure he stays good. So I try to help him hit his target heart rate. But by virtue of that, I try to get mine in too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's been a great thing to be a part of. And that was your AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser, Aero Aquaterra for cellular power in the rest of the 21st century. So we're going to get back to our Power to the People news. And we're going to jump into a ditty. We haven't talked about this sector people in a minute. But as an educator, I got to kind of dig into a story like this because this is kind of the new frontier for education. And they're kind of trying to spoon feed it to you. So without further ado, man, let me just pop it up here. So an Oklahoma school hires a drag queen as their principal. So I'll read the byline really, really quick. In recent news, Western Heights School District in Oklahoma has found itself at the heart of a significant controversy. Shane Mummin, known outside of his educational role as a drag queen, Chantel Mandalay is her stage name, was hired as the principal of John Glenn Elementary. This decision has brought about a serious debate and concerns from various quarters of the school district. So this is the new frontier for education, man. So, my kids are grown, so now I'm eking toward the grandkidville. You probably in that same space,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
The next step is taking care of the grandbabies. I'm not rushing none of my three into none of it. But at a certain point, I'll be looking forward to them. But then I also want to be involved with their education.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have folks that are cross-dressers, hyper cross-dressers is what I like to put it. And they're in the drag queen variety. But what's been happening with the drag queen population over the last 2 years or so? You're seeing all of these drag queen story hours in all these community centers, schools, and recreation centers. And now it's eking into the actual doors of your tax-paid public school districts. So it's one thing if you support that community and their right to be who they want to be, but now you have them as policymakers and ultimate administration over your child's day-to-day education. What's your take on this, bro?
Well, I think we know and knew there were two things in education that we were always fighting against and that we always knew was there. One, same gender loving people. Two, pedophiles. So having drag queens You know, you got their cousins involved, so it was just a matter of time before when these principals or teachers come through and occupy space. And remember, thanks to that black guy who was a president of ours, he opened the doors under the anti-bullying. And what he's allowed to do was, because remember, what was one of the first things he did? Hired a trans in his cabinet. The precedent was set where we was headed with this.
Right.
And so now what has happened is the alphabet community brought on queer, or the LGBTQ, T and Q, knowing that they really didn't care about T and Q, but they used T and Q, and now T and Q has taken over.
Right, they got more momentum than the G and the L. Right.
There you go.
Right. And secretly, the G and the L, like Dave Chappelle said, they don't like the T. They don't like the T and the Q.
They don't.
They don't like the focus. Yeah.
But you made strange bedfellows. And that's what happened. You got in bed with the wrong folks, and now you stuck with them.
Yeah.
Because remember the articles that are coming out. They're having problems. The LGB don't like the TQ. And they are ruining all the work they put in to get where they at today. And it's like, no, what you did was you hoard yourself out to other folks, and now you're paying the consequences. You opened that Pandora's box when you should have kept it closed.
Facts. Now, I'll always say this in rebuttal is that what you do with your sexuality and your time and your privacy is your business. I don't need to know that. It's like I don't need to know what, a friend of mine who's straight is doing. I don't need to know what goes on in your bedroom. That's your business.
But here's the problem.
Go ahead.
We know that many of the cross-dressers and trans are very flamboyant, and they want you to know what they're doing.
Right.
In other words, you knew the flame was hot. You touched it anyway. And now you just got burnt. So now this is this is the aftermath. Right. They've always been the same.
So what I was alluding to was the body of work from this community. I don't see it. I don't see the legislation. I don't see the culture changing documents. I don't see the contributions to lifestyle and culture on a healthy note for this group to ascend to these positions that they're ascending to. I don't see the continuity or the contribution. So I'm just wondering, how is it that these, without that, now, of course, they always want to kind of ride our coattail, but we've been here 400 years plus and did innumerous amounts of work to the American culture. Whether it's appreciated or not, it's there.
Right.
Where's their contribution from a healthy perspective, so that we can fully integrate this group of people into the American paradigm and have them in charge of elementary school kids and their erudition, especially when you got, of course, the statistic by the CDC is 1 in 4 kids in America are LGBTQ.
I think what we're doing is trying to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Are these kids really LGBTQ? Or once again, we're just trying to put in kids' head, this is what they are and this is what's going on. And no, they haven't earned the spot, but a lot of them were chameleons. Because when we start looking at voting records and things that go on, now when you see this guy, you think he's just a regular old teacher. Voting a certain way. And then what happens? Now, because of the culture shift, it's okay now that he can walk around and be Susie Q on the weekend.
Right.
So, hey, he's coming to school. And then when we started allowing for individuals to just be there and be at the table, this is what you get now.
Yeah, man. And not to mention, there's a street culture, a night street culture that's attached to kind of what they do.
Yes.
And no one wants to, kind of own up to what that recklessness is really all about. They want to talk about the fairness of it and the justness of it and the, I guess the be fair and equitable to everybody. But nobody want to talk about the recklessness of their, I guess, nightly activities or street type of activities and how that can affect the children. But I have an article here, Power to the People News. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. So we're trying to reconcile that a Decepticon, as a lot of people like to call them, have a transformer, is going to be a principal of a whole school. But at the same token, just a week ago, we have this that happened. Portland trans activists destroyed and defecated inside teen girl's car over transphobia claims. Car towed away because it was considered a biohazard. So this is the woman whose car was mutilated, and this is the picture of the trans that committed this atrocity. So there's always 6 degrees of separation between what's reckless and what's, preferable. And do you want this intermingling with your children and their ability to learn and their ability to educate themselves and develop themselves? I just found this story to be absolutely ludicrous. And it was so bad. It wasn't just the fact that the Decepticon pooped in the car and peed in the car, right? They smeared it all over the car. So by the time the person got back to the car was so putrid that no one would even, so they had to get all new upholstery, all new everything. All new everything. Because they put that thing down in the car. What's your thoughts, man, when you hear a goofy thing like this, man? What? Man.
It's crazy. It's crazy because this is nothing new, man. This is what a lot of that community does, especially in the trans community. They're very, very flamboyant. They're very emotional. They're very high strung. They're very, and people can say, "Oh, you shouldn't put everybody in the same boat." I think I've had enough history and I lived long enough to say, that's about right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Prove me wrong, is what I would say.
Right.
Prove me wrong.
Right. Look like a duck, quack like a duck, walk like a duck.
Yeah. Prove me wrong on this, brother, because this is what they do, man. And 9 times out of 10, they do something trans men or men who trans to women, Europeans, use the same blueprint as a lot of Black women use in the workplace. And what they do in the workplace, they always scream racism. These white men who trans to women or cross-dressing women, they always scream transphobia. They do the same thing because they're trying to be like, and a lot of them ain't trying to be like women, they're trying to be like Black women.
Right.
And that's something we don't talk about.
Right.
And so they use the same tactics and the same, they have the same behavior as a lot of Black women.
Right. Right.
I'm sorry, sisters, don't be mad at me on the call. If you do, please just log on. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. Let's get on, man. Throw it in the chat. Let us know how you think, man. Do trans and LGBTQ folk take their cues from Black women and operate in the same nana and a boo-boo state that a lot of sisters do. Now, did you hear? I don't know if you do you keep up on the Minority Reporter?
I have not read the Minority Reporter in a while.
There's an article about the police union rep and on the police accountability board, and she's going toe to toe with someone in her very own office who's LGBTQ. And this is a sister. Her name is Shanice something. Hold on. Do I have it? Hold on.
I know who you're talking about.
Let me see if I have it.
I know who she going. Who the sister is.
Yeah, but I don't have it. I have the one about the COVID money that needs to be spent. That's still in the coffers of the the committees of Rochester. I was going to get to that, but probably won't tonight. Maybe Wednesday. But they're bumping heads. I forget the gentleman's name. They're bumping heads over sexual harassment claim. Because this guy who's in the LGBTQ claims that the woman was shooting her shot at him. And now there's a big rift in the police accountability board over these dealings and these happenings. So let me see if I can pull that up. Oh, yeah, here we go.
I found it. Shanique Bird. Shanique Bird.
Yeah, I'm
former executive director, Revise sexual harassment claims.
Yeah. So let me put it on the screen so everybody can see it. Dwyer Reynolds, executive director of the Police Accountability Board, has brought forth a sexual harassment lawsuit against Shani Wilson, the board's former chair. This conflict has resurfaced after Dwyer Reynolds filed a lawsuit seeking monetary compensation and attorney fees. Allegations made by Dwyer include claims of sexual harassment, retaliation, very, very key, which he detailed in an open letter published on the Medium. So that speaks exactly to what you was talking about, bro. That's exactly banana in a tailpipe. That you mirroring the same madness. Man, that might as well be the brick lady.
And here's what's I don't know if you know about the sister around town. Now she's a nurse by trade.
Okay.
Good sister, man, in so many ways, but they blow that dog whistle too much, man. And then the other part is that's what she's into.
Mm-hmm.
So the claim, in my opinion, I would say is not far-fetched because she lives in that crazy liberal left world where things like this take place. And what happens with our sisters is we've been told that we now have special privileges within that world, not realizing that we don't.
Right.
We just keep falling for the okie doke.
Right. Combahee River Collective, we some special honoree guests or something. Our sisters are the special honoree guests or something. Except for when it's time to get that check or get them rights or get that legislation. Then all of a sudden, like Susan B. Anthony and Stanton, they done forgot about sisters.
Yeah. And the sad thing is that we are so busy trying to occupy positions, and we want to occupy positions, but we don't want to do no work in those positions. We don't want to create legislation in those positions. We're not there to do anything to make that such that we are always in a good position. It's just, we just want to occupy the position.
Positionality, contests, positionality, climbers.
There it is.
Climbers of sorts, that's gonna, if I have the positionality, now I can climb and seek out that, boss babe lifestyle that I want.
And then the other piece to that is, once again, their behavior is not correct, man.
Yeah.
We have to really deal with that in our communities. And we have to teach our sisters, our younger sisters, man, our daughters, You don't need to be that way in the workplace.
Right.
You ain't trans. So don't go in and act like you got some, like you ain't got no sense.
Hey man, this is almost like a Me Too moment, man.
Yeah.
Me through. He got me through. Oh my gosh. So what? It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? You suck. You was sick in the Me Too movement on brothers, and now the chicken come home to roost, as Brother Malcolm say, and it's boomeranging on you now.
Yep. And see, because once they done neutralize, this is the part that's funny about all this, is they're not forward thinking. When they finally dealt with us, and I remember as a kid, reading Jet magazine, that's reading Ebony magazine, reading Essence magazine, Emerge magazine, all those black magazines from the 80s and the 90s and the 70s were always talking about black men being the 100th species in America. Now here we go, fast forward 30, 40, 50 years, 20 years. Black men there's some obsolescence looming for black men as we currently know them. So with that in mind, why sisters think that somehow they was going to reign supreme? How do they think that? Especially when white women were not fighting against black men. They were fighting against white men to get that power. Because when they get power, they side themselves with other white men. Show me where you find white women who find themselves in power pulling other black women along. That's sisterhood. There is none. We can't find it nowhere. But yet sisters still continue to pull them along and talk about this sisterhood and how we fighting against men. No, you fighting with that white woman to put her where she needs to be. Because you ain't doing nothing for us. And the fight still, what was so interesting about all of that is that their families and their communities in this fight still stays intact. Not ours.
Wow. Right. And you can tell where their favor lies based on how they vote.
Thank you.
And based on how the last couple of elections have turned out and how they done flipped the pancake over the last 3 or 4 presidents, bro, it's nutty, man. And if they really cared about girl power, when Hillary was at the precipice, there should have been a January 6th thing, and the lady should have banged out.
There you go. Yep.
They should have banged out on the Electoral College. They should have had their own bang out on the Electoral College. But that didn't happen.
Did not happen.
It was a whole lot of acceptance. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we right on it, man. And I was going to do the story about the Greek skulls that were actually found in Turkey, where they talk about how predates Lucy of Africa, and whether or not that's a thing. But we're right on the half hour, so I'm gonna shut it down for right now. I want everybody to jump into, if you're watching this on the rewind or you watching this for the first time after it's done, I want you guys to jump into the chat, jump into the comments, or even jump into the live next time we come on and tell us what part of this that you like. What part of this show did you prefer? I thought we covered a lot of topics. I thought we dealt with a lot of things in a lot of critical and expansive ways. I want you guys to show the Real HD Show some love and tell us what you think, just like you did last show. I'll put those comments on the screen next time we come on, and we'll chop it up then, man. Last word is yours, man. You got something you promoting, or you got something going on? I know the fall is a time for lots of new things to pop off first business quarter of the year. And anything you promoting, bro? Anything you got popping?
I have some things that I'm working on right now. When I get them solidified and start getting them ready, I will definitely let people know. And the things that I do, so everyone knows, around entrepreneurship and being a small businessman. So the things that I would assist you with and things that I would promote to you would help you to be financially independent, not by some pie in the sky, not by some tricking the government or tricking the bank to give you certain type of credit, but to legitimately how to start a business, grow a business, maintain a business.
Yeah, man, I really feel like that's really a black man's only saving grace. Because if you work for someone else, you're gonna be under their thumb. You're gonna be under there. You got to capitulate and bend the knee. That's not to say you can't, and that's not to say that there's not merits within it. But you got to navigate yourself very, very carefully and very, very, skillfully to maintain that whole piece.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's where the world's headed.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to other countries, 90% of the people he's out there hustling on the street trying to make money.
Yeah.
And so we better start preparing ourselves, man. I ain't saying that, the sky is falling. I'm just saying it's lowering right now. And we need to be prepared.
And speaking of gig economy businesses, if you have a gig economy business, the Real HD television network has the world-class co-op shop. That's an opportunity. It's been flashing in the background, all of the different shows that we're about to embark on the Real HD network. One of them is going to be called the World-Class Co-op Shop, where if you have a gig economy business or a small business, you can advertise with us. We will advertise you, and people will know all over the diaspora where they can go to find your goods and your wares. So if you make the best pie in Brooklyn and you make the best socks in Chicago, somebody gonna know about it if you get down with the Real HD World-Class Co-op Shop. It's about bridging the gap with advertising, because we know advertising costs millions of dollars and black people don't got money like that. So it's one of the ways that we make advertising your business more affordable. And it's going to be a one-stop shop for city to city, state to state, where you can come on and find out what's where and who does it. And you could hear it and see it first right here on the Real HD network. Go ahead, bro. Sound like you want to jump in.
No, I'm good, man.
Oh, okay. All right, man. So, hey, for all of us on the Real HD show, I'm the Vic, and for Brother Mozzie, we're going to say peace and walk with power, love on yourself, and take care of one another. And check us out on Wednesday. Let's go. Hump day.
Later.
Peace.